All right. And we are live. Hey everyone. Welcome to the Project Eggroll podcast. My name is Phil, and we have Grae over here. And yeah, this is going to be our first podcast, and it's just going to be some random stuff that we're going to be talking about. I think it's either going to be something that we're either passionate about, like movies, video games, TV shows, or maybe even like culture or anything like that. But my name is Phillip Chan, and I stream on Twitch. I'm a small time streamer. I do have another YouTube channel with a couple of hundred subscribers, but yeah, we have Grae here, who's also a fellow streamer. Go ahead, Grae. What do you do? Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah. Hi. I'm Grae. You can call me Grae. Yeah. As Phil mentioned, I also live stream on Twitch. We mostly cover essentially the same games. Actually, we cover mostly JRPGs because we love JRPGs. So, I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but well, I do, but there's literally nothing in it. But that's gonna change soon because yeah, I'm leaning towards making more of those. So yeah. Yeah, I also have a day job like Phil, and it's also a work from home job. Then apart from that, if I get free time, yeah, I do live stream of usually RPGs.
All right,
And
cool.
yeah, we also like some anime if I get the time, and yeah, some TV series which we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess today's topic is the House of the Dragons. That what's it called again? We do actually have episode 2 coming out tomorrow, which yeah yeah. So House of the Dragon premiered last Sunday on HBO, and it's, to be honest, it's actually a lot better than what I thought. Is because season 8 left such a bad taste in my mouth. It's just well, season 7, but mostly season 8. That the fact that D&D, I call them Dumb and Dumber, but the fact that they rushed it, like I know that HBO actually told them, hey, let's do a an 10 episode season 7 and season 8, and they're like, no, let's do an 8 episode season 7 and 6 episodes season 8, but the last 2 episodes are going to be like an hour and a half or 2 hours long or something like that, which is completely untrue, because the last episode was about an hour and probably 15 to 20 minutes, and like 15 to 20 minutes was just like excerpt, recap and sort of like behind the scenes stuff. But House of the Dragon definitely is sort of bringing hope into this franchise, for me at least. But what do you think, Grae?
Yeah. I kind of agree with you there, but I'm aware about that too. That HBO offered to prolong Game of Thrones because it was because it still needed fleshing out as I mentioned. But yeah, they were like the D&D, as you mentioned, Dumb and Dumber. Let's call them Dumb and Dumber. No, let's just end this already in season 8 because yeah, lo and behold, they were supposedly having a Star Wars project, which yeah, and it's really a shame. It's really a shame that ended up being such a bummer because I was really loving the series. Like I was saying to myself way back before season 8 premieres, like, okay, when this series finishes, I want to watch again from season 1. I want to go back to season 1 and go do the nitty gritty, like the details that I missed, the details that I forgot. But no, forget it. Like after season 8, after they butchered everything, like they kind of subvert expectations, that not in a good way, in a pretty terrible way. And yeah, the writing is all over the place. Like everything, the foundations of the first 4 seasons were gone. The materials from the books were gone. But yeah, House of the Dragon seems like HBO is like trying. They are aware of what they're up against, so they needed to make up for that. Like this episode 1, I know there's some feedback that there's like there's it's pretty boring, it's pretty slow, but in my opinion, that's not really supposed to be the expectation for a season 1 episode 1. It's like it's more of the world building, introducing the characters, introducing the world, which is what they managed to pull off, which is quite successful. Yeah, that's what I think. It's overall, I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, same as you. And there's a I'm more optimistic now. Hopefully they keep this up or even do better for the rest of the season. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with how things began. How it with like background of the Targaryens. I think Jaehaerys was the old king. Jaehaerys needed an heir because his sons died out of tragedy. I don't know if the books covered how they died, but yeah. So it started with Jaehaerys being okay. The kingdom needs an heir, but my sons are dead. So it was either Viserys. I think this. I'm not sure it's his son or his, I can't remember. But
Yeah, I think.
then the other.
Yeah, I think it's what's it called again? Two sons, right? It's the is yeah, I think it's Viserys and Daemon, right?
Oh no. Damon is
Matt Smith's character.
Yeah. I'm referring to the very start. Do you remember? It was between a woman and Viserys. Then it ended up being Viserys.
Yeah. Okay, I remember now. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
it was the,
yeah.
the I guess it's Viserys' sister. I'm assuming, right? Yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's a relative. I can't remember either because yeah, I'm not an all out fan of a game of the books. But yeah, so I like the world building. Like I like what the part where the narrator said, because the only way the kingdom is so powerful, so prosperous, the only thing that can bring it down is itself. So it's a really good foreshadowing of what's about to come, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say like for me, I usually tend to try to make sure that I go into watching a show, majority of the time at least, with was just being open minded. Like especially with something that look when Game of Thrones was at its peak, I would say probably the Red Wedding. I would say the Red Wedding and probably season 4 when the whole Joffrey stuff happened and stuff like that, right? And I would say this show was untouchable in terms of it being how culturally like a big cultural phenomenon. Like it was so big, it was like bigger than the Super Bowl. It was just massive, right? Like it was popular everywhere. It was the number one most watched series on Sunday. It was the most probably bootleg, like downloaded on and pirated on I believe on Pirate Bay, and I believe they were actually able to get. I'm not sure even on Pornhub they actually probably ripped it off on online and put it on Pornhub because like
okay.
yeah because I know that I know they did that with what's it called again with what's it called like Rick and Morty. They did that with Rick and Morty.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so
okay.
which is actually pretty funny. And to be fair, so how I judged the House of the Dragons versus the OG Game of Thrones was based off of episode 1 of each the pilot of each series, right? So the pilot for this one was introduction of the dragons that and I'm assuming that the writers and directors and the showrunners, they already know, like they're assuming that people who are watching this already know the backstory. But like if you don't know the backstory, like how is this interesting to you, right? So you have dragons, you have sex, and you have violence, and then you actually have like people like sort of deceiving one another, hence the Game of Thrones, right? So it was actually pretty interesting. I thought that that this one they're more isolated in terms of characters, right? You barely know the female, the Viserys' sister, or the other person that was supposed to go into the throne. Daemon. God, what's the daughter's name? Like
Rhaenyra, something like that. Rhaenyra.
Yeah, and a couple of other characters, and then you sort of see like the sigils of each house is like the House Baratheon, House Stark. I don't think I've seen House Lannister yet, but you see like Hightower and stuff like that, like Old Town.
Yeah.
Like you see all of those. It was actually pretty interesting. But when I was watching it with my wife, it was actually pretty interesting because she said that she liked the original pilot better, and I asked her why, and she was like, well, the thing is that you got introduced into a bigger cast, right? You met the Lannisters, other than Tywin, right? You met the Lannisters, you met the Starks, you met the Baratheons, you met Jon Snow, how they got their wolves, and it's just like Bran Stark, how he became how he got paralyzed, and it was it was definitely like, oh, what happens next? Oh, what happens next? Versus this one, she said that it was more of, oh, okay, so she's going to be the heir. Okay, so what's the next episode now? Versus that one, the pilot of the original Game of Thrones left sort of like a cliffhanger, right? But to be honest, I thought this was a good start. I think this is a very good start. Like, it's not great or anything like that, and I'm just trying to like make sure that like if the show holds on and it learns from its past, hopefully we can get around 10 seasons of this or something like that. Like it'll be pretty pretty awesome. I'm not sure. So according to I think there was the epilogue of the first episode, this is like about like 174 years before Daenerys came in, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
or something like that. So but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. There are some stuff where I felt like where a lot of people were like, oh, this show is gonna be woke, right? This show is gonna be is gonna have all these things, and for me, I think that you got to think about the day and the time this is set in, right? And you got to think about where, like, this is a long time ago. They didn't have modern medicine and stuff like that, and like a lot of like the rage that people that I've been seeing online was them saying that, oh, this is the Roe v. Wade all over again. Like Grae. I'm not sure if you know too much about Roe v. Wade, but it's definitely like that. This happened back in the 60s. But do you know much about Roe v. Wade?
I think I've heard of it before, but I do not remember the story. It's something to do with childbirth, right? Or something similar.
So what Roe v. Wade is, I believe, Roe v. Wade is what's it called again? A mother, for layman's term, like just something more simple. She wanted to have an abortion, and this is back in the 60s, I believe.
Wow.
And she wanted to have an abortion, and so she was like, okay, I want to go have an abortion, but they're like, oh, it's illegal for you to have an abortion here in Texas is because of the law.
Okay.
And this is state law, right? So the state law of Texas back in the day was you are not allowed to have an abortion unless if it's detrimental to the mother's life. So that's the only way that you can have it. So she was like, okay, so I'm gonna go talk to a lawyer. So the lawyer is like, yeah, you can't have that. And what happened? So she's like, you know what? I'm gonna sue the state. Right, because this is a 14th Amendment issue, and the 14th Amendment issue is the right to privacy. So let's say if I get some kind of surgery on myself, the government should not have a say in it, right? They should not have a say. They shouldn't even know, like, it's my privacy, right? So so she sued on that merits and she won, but this went all the way up to the Supreme Court. So when the this case went all the way up to the Supreme Court, she won, and then the Supreme Court was like, sure, just blanket state, like, okay, this Roe v. Wade, we're ruling in favor of Roe, and moving forward, people should be able to have abortions, period, right? It was part of the Amendment 14, so that the right to privacy. So when and how this relates to this one was just like, well, here's the thing, the king. So of course this is gonna be spoilers. So the king
spoilers,
was
everybody.
Yeah. This is big spoilers, but it's been out in a week. I would say if you were a big Game of Thrones fan or George R.R. Martin kind of stuff, like you should probably already seen this already. But what happens is that the king's wife is pregnant, and she was like, oh, I'm going to give birth. so what happened was like so the maesters was like basically the nurses and the doctors are like, well, she's like the baby is turned and it's not coming out correctly, so you either we're gonna have to where if what do you want to do, we either have to cut her open and this will kill her to save the baby, or they're both gonna die. Which one would you want? And as a king, so he's a king, he's a person of power, a politician, went ahead and said, let's get the baby out, right? So this is against her will. This is against her consent. So he goes ahead and said, okay, Maester, go ahead and cut out the baby. So they did an emergency C-section to save the baby, and she ends up bleeding to death. Is because they don't have they don't have modern medicine or any of that kind of stuff back in the day. So when the baby was born, the Maester hold it was a boy, and the baby lived for a little bit, and the baby ended up dying. So in terms of how a lot of people were actually people who were like they want abortions for everyone, right? They want abortion, my body, my choice. If I want abortion, I should have it and stuff like that. So what they ended up saying was that this king deserved it, right? You deserve to lose your wife, and you deserve to lose your kid, is because you did an abortion, and like you did an abortion, and this is against like consent, right? This is what you wanted, this is what you get. So that was why like the the people who are who are pro-choice were like, this is what you deserve. You deserve this. You deserve to lose everything because you did this without the woman's consent. So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's a weird take because if I were in the Viserys shoes, like, would I put my wife in that position? Like, you have to make a decision now. Like, it's either you die or you just die or you both die. It's hard at that very moment to tell her that, something like that. And it's like, I would just make the hard. Yeah, I would do exactly what Viserys said. Like, I love you. Then you give that impression that something's not great is gonna happen. Then what could he have done? What could he have done in that scenario? I think it's gonna make it even worse, and it might even risk the baby. Well, we know what happens later to the baby, but it might risk the operation it might risk in failure if I let her go psychologically. Yeah. And that too. People also need to take note that this is a prequel. So that's the hard thing about prequels is that chances are the people are watching or watch the main line. Mm-hmm. So they already know what's gonna happen here in this what generally is gonna happen in this prequel. So they need to find some way to convincingly pull it off, because that's the hard part of prequels. Like, people already know what's gonna happen, unlike in the mainline series. So prequels are really a tough bag to pull off in such a way that many people will be convinced that it's a good way to pull off the prequel. So it's trying to explain it. It's like, since it's already preordained in a sense, like we know what's gonna happen in the end. Like the House of Targaryen, it's in flames, it's in shambles. But I think it's a good way to it was a good way to begin to get the ball rolling, to have a problem with the inheritance, like who's gonna sit in the Iron Throne, to do it in such a way, in a convincing way, like, and it's in typical Game of Thrones fashion for me. It's like, it's brutal, it's ugly, it's never pretty. It's never pretty for a Game of Thrones. So I think it's done correctly, and also I was thinking of something else, but I think I'm okay with it. I don't see why how they're relating it to the case you mentioned.
For me, if y'all don't know, like I'm in the States, so and Grae is located in the Philippines. So there's a lot of different legalities and different like cultures and stuff like that, and it's sort of like Grae is sort of an outsider looking in to all these, like, how does this have to do with this? Why are people so upset? Why are people so up in arms about like this thing? And for me, so this show was probably filmed way before Roe v. Wade went through, right? Because if y'all don't know, like, Roe v. Wade got overturned, right? So decisions went back to the state. So and it's just like they're like, oh, it's, this is what happens, and the whole Handmaid's Tale thing. They start wearing the white bonnet and stuff like that. Like, I think they're trying to like make something out of nothing, is because they think that this is a W for them. But let's not talk about like that, and we'll talk more about the show. To be honest, I think that the show was pretty solid. At least the first episode. I'm definitely looking forward to tomorrow's episode. Like you said, like the whole grittiness. It's great. It's violent. It's there's dragons right away, like in the original Game of Thrones. Like we didn't see the grown up dragons until what, season 4, maybe even about season 4, right? It's like we've seen like little like hatchlings and stuff like that, and you see Daenerys like, where are my dragons, right? And it's I thought it was good. Like Game of Thrones, like the original was so good up until season 6, right? It was great. They left out a couple of things. I know, like what's it called again? Got the middle Baratheon brother. Forgot his name already. But he's supposed to have like some crazy sword, and sort of wrote him off. And it's just like they changed all these things, and I thought that like that it worked. I think it worked, and like I think that it's just Matt Smith did an amazing job for playing a character that you love to hate. Like you like him, but you also don't like him at the same time. Yeah. And I feel like predictions and stuff like that. Like we know this little fucker is gonna do some shit, right? We know that this guy he's gonna pull some kind of little finger. We know he's gonna kind of weasel his way in there and stuff like that. And but what's it called again? I think that it's not, to be honest with like with how I feel. Like I don't think it's really woke. In terms of like how, oh yeah, like we're gonna have so and so be the new queen and stuff like that, and if this person dies, this person is gonna become queen. But I to be honest, like if I was a father, and if all my heirs or my sons and my daughters died, and only there's one left, like, and it's a female, I'm like, then my bloodline must go on, like it's like. How, and I believe this is the first time in Game of Thrones history where they had a female queen, I believe. I right? So I'm definitely looking forward to
over a century, I think. Yeah. Over a century.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if this is the Dance of Dragons. I think Dance of Dragons it predates this a while back, all right? So I'm definitely interested to see where how this show develops. I thought that what's it called again? Okay, so weird note. Okay, what's it called again? Of course, this is Game of Thrones, so you have like nudity and sex and shit like that. But that one part, I don't know. This is just me, okay? All right. So I'm not body shaming or anything. Okay, you like what you like. I like what I like, and the thing is that like when Damon was at the brothel, and then like he was like he's getting it on with that girl, and you see all those girls watching him. Yeah, he's like, oh man, I wish that was me. And then I'm like, I was like, okay, cool, he's doing it and stuff like that. And then I was just like, yo, that girl needs to eat. that girl's what? She needs to eat. Yeah, I thought she was pretty skinny. I was like, oh, yo, you need to eat, man.
Yeah, she kind of is. Yeah. Again, don't get mad at us, but yeah, I kind of agree with that. The kind of awkward part of it's pretty awkward. It's like the first time I watched, it's like my mom came in right at that scene, but she didn't mind. But it's kind of funny. My mom walked in. It was right directly at that scene. Never mind. But yeah, I kind of agree with you there. That the girl's kind of skinny, but I think she's gonna play a pretty big role too later on, because in a sense that it's not gonna end well for her in a sense, because right, Damon spends the treasury funds to acquire the brothel, which is kind of absurd for the watch. And yeah, but what you said earlier about being woke, I don't agree with it either, because it kind of makes sense. Like you as Viserys, after defending your brother really hard, like to the council, your council telling you like, yeah, Damon's a douchebag. Damon is not capable. He's not attending our meetings. He's splurging our funds. Then Viserys was like, no, he's my brother. He has a place in this courtroom. He's he actually even defended his raid on the town, right? Like when he was executing the murderer, cutting the balls of the rapist, cutting the hands of the thieves. Like we need to instill fear to the people. He was even defending it to that extent. But when his queen died and the daughter died, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. So it's like, how could you say something like that? How could you say that his child was heir for the day?
Mm-hmm.
But then you so proudly proclaim yourself as the next heir to the Iron Throne. That was like, it was really there. So even if I was Viserys, even if I'm in a rational state, even though I obviously was very, very angry and emotional when he made that decision to make his daughter the next heir to the Iron Throne. So even then, thinking about it logically, thinking of all the sequence of events, it's only logical that you just give it to your daughter, who's very young, true, but you can still, assuming that she doesn't have any, let's assume that Rhaenyra is not the perfect person. She's still pretty young, and Viserys can definitely guide her way towards the right path compared to Daemon, who's uncontrollable. So I don't see why it's woke that Rhaenyra becomes the queen, and it's really in the context of the Game of Thrones universe that females are the lesser race compared to the males, right?
Correct.
So it kind of makes sense. Like, so obviously when she's instilled as a queen, that's also a huge factor to discontent in society. Like, why are you bringing a female to the throne? That's not supposed to be. Then I imagine what's going to happen in the succeeding episodes is like these people are going to side with Daemon, something like that. That's how they're setting it up. Which is, for me, it's valid. It makes sense. So it's not really woke per se.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Like for me, I think that okay, so for me, I think in terms of like people saying that it's woke, saying that a person did something and they didn't earn it, or or a person is just really, really strong without having to do anything to sort of like that to claim their rightful place of being a strong person, right? Like for me, I'm like that for everything. I don't care if you're male or female, right? Like if you did something that sort of goes into that realm of like, hey, I worked my ass off, I earned this shit, you know, like I did all of these things, and like I trained, I worked my ass off to get this, and I deserve it. Like then by all means, right? Like more power to you, right? So if you have a person that like just comes into it, oh, I'm already really strong, or something like that, then you have to sort of say it, or but if you illustrate it in a way where they're not likable, and it's just it sort of spits in the face of like the fandom, right? And that's what we call in the at least what I call it, the Mary Sue's. So like you have what's it called again? You have what's it called again? For instance, Rey from Star Wars, you know, like like for me, she's a nothing. She got to something, and then at the end of what's it called again? The Force Awakens, she was able to take down Kylo Ren, who's been training to be a Jedi ever since he was a kid. And I'm like, I guess, you know, like a lot of people was like, well, but he was actually injured by Chewbacca and stuff like that. So she was able to get the upper hand, and but the thing is that now you have what's it called, the Last Jedi, which is the worst of the bunch, and you have that, and then like she trained a little bit with Luke Skywalker and was completely able to take him on. And it was just like she became strong for no reason. And the thing is, I think how like Rian Johnson wrote her in is she's supposed to be a nobody. Like she's supposed to be a nobody. She's supposed to be, you know, anyone could be a Jedi, anyone could be a Sith or something like that. But what J.J. Abrams, which originally wanted to write her in, is she's supposed to be Palpatine's granddaughter, right? So maybe that's the reason why she's so strong. But But in terms of Game of Thrones, I think all the females earn their keep, right? Daenerys,
Yes.
like Daenerys was weak. She was used, and she was basically sold off to the Dothraki, right? And was basically like, oh, you're gonna be you're gonna be my wife and stuff like that. But when she sort of learned how to be strong, like women don't have to be strong like how men are strong. They're not, because women are feminine, right? At least majority how society sees women. They're feminine. They're fragile. Like, so as men, we want to take care of them. We want to be able to make sure that like they're okay. But in terms of Game of Thrones, like, how can I make Khal Drogo like me? What can I do? And of course, you got one of the ladies who's like, well, you can do that in bed. You can seduce him. You can use your sexual appeal. You can use that to sort of overrule that. And when he died, she basically became the Khal, right? She basically became the leader of the Dothraki. Yeah. So she became the Khaleesi, right? So it's just you have that, and then she was relatively weak. Still relatively weak, but that she can't die from fire. And then she grew into her character. Same thing with Cersei. Same thing with like the only character that, like, out of all the female characters that I would say like was like really like she had to know how to do it was Lyanna Mormont, right? The little girl. And yeah, like it's like she was given this position because there was no one left.
Yeah.
Right. Like every lord in that house died. So you are the last one. So, but the thing is that she has to show that she's strong. It's because she's a little girl where she's like 8 or 9, maybe even 10. Like, she has to show that she's strong. She has to grow into her spot because it was just where she was. But like even with Arya, she trained. You saw her get cut. She almost died multiple times, and she learned her way. The only person that out of all the female characters, the only one that I actually don't really like is Sansa. But I think what's it called again? In terms of this one, I think the new heir to the throne, she will be what's it called? What's her name again?
Rhaenyra.
Okay. I was going to call her Rihanna. Yeah, Rhaenyra. But
they all rhyme, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah. So So I think the Rhaenyra will because I think we sort of where this is going. Like, this is prediction, right? This is some big 5-head moment. I think that the dad will somehow die. Due to an infection or something like that, because you already see that Viserys has like a wound on the back.
Oh yeah.
And he already cut himself multiple times sitting on the damn throne. Maybe that's the reason why in the future thrones it looks more simple, right? Maybe they cut down all the swords, they dull everything out. I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that he's somehow gonna die, either by that, like an infection, sort of like how Khal Drogo died, or maybe Daemon ends up like murdering him or something like that. I'm not sure, because he really, really wants the throne.
Yeah, it's probably one of the two.
Yeah.
If they want to subvert expectations, it's probably Daemon. If you ask me, it's like he's gonna go in there, stab him, and there we go. That's how Viserys meets his end.
Yeah, he's like, long live the king. Yeah, long live the king, brother. Scar, brother. Right? But so then, like, Rhaenyra will have to grow into her position. Like, she's like, I hope they show her getting a little overwhelmed, and you'll have like, the hand of the queen and a bunch of other people around her like assisting her, because she's like there's a lot of shit I don't know what to do, and hopefully it shows her making a couple mistakes. Like, that will show like character development and sort of like how to really write. Like, oh, she can't just like take the throne. She knows how to do everything, right?
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I suddenly remember. I get the feeling it's gonna start with at least majority or a good portion of the City Watch siding with Daemon, because he's so tight to them. Like, yeah, I'm such a good leader. I provide you with the brothel. I take care of you guys. Before, you were just, I forgot the term he said. it's like a weak animal. Then he said, "Now you're hounds." So he's in really good terms with them. So
Mhm.
I imagine the City Watch playing a role maybe as soon as the next episode already, where they're gonna strike a revel, and that's where
Yeah.
shit begins to hit the fan.
Yeah, like I 100% agree with you because you will have people who are like, no woman can be, no woman should be able to sit on the Iron Throne, like this is blasphemy and shit like that, and like it's just it's I think there's gonna be sort of like some kind of like a mutiny, right, within the group. I think what's it called, and Damon is gonna be like, yo, hey, like this is what you guys want, the crowd has spoken, they want me to be king and stuff like that, I'm not sure how that's gonna go, but I to be honest, like I originally didn't, when the trailer came out, like I did a reaction on my what's it called, on Twitch and my YouTube and stuff like that. But it was what's it called? Originally, I wasn't a fan of how the hair looks and stuff like that. But it sort of grows on you, and
Yeah.
but I think Matt Smith is he like he's doing a really good job. Whenever Matt Smith is in something, like the first time I got introduced to Matt Smith was Doctor Who. And I loved him in Doctor Who. And he's no David Tennant. I love David Tennant. The 10th Doctor is my favorite, but the 11th Doctor, what's it called again? What's it called? It's just like he just played a really charismatic character. He whenever he's on screen, he commands the screen, and it goes more like it's because the next thing I saw him in, which is funny, is because he was in Terminator Genesis, right? The next thing I actually saw him in was Terminator Genesis. And,
I didn't watch Genesis, but okay, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you don't have to watch it. To be honest,
Yeah.
it's like the first couple, like maybe 10 minutes is like pretty interesting, but other than that, it sort of becomes
Yeah, I
trash.
heard it's okay. It's just, yeah, I know it's not great.
It's better than Dark Fate. Yeah, it's better than Dark Fate though. For
Dark Fate
for sure.
Oh god.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's funny is because what's it called? Khaleesi, Emilia Clarke played Sarah Connor, and was Matt Smith played what's it called again? Like a special Terminator that was able to like infect people with like nanobots, right? So Matt Smith was like the main bad guy, which is actually pretty cool. It's sort of like, oh, now they're both they were both in Game of Thrones, but yeah, even in that, like Matt Smith commands the screen whenever he's on. You're like, oh, and he has that sort of like sinister look, like he can look very evil, and I love it. Like it's really cool. I hope to bring in more characters. It's I want to see more dragons, is because like I believe I saw a chart on like dragon size comparisons and stuff like that. And I guess the smallest dragons were Daenerys's dragons. Like Daenerys's dragons were the smallest ones. Like, because I'm talking about the lineage of all the dragons. So that red one that we saw Matt Smith rode off with, like at the end of episode 1, that thing was like, it's supposed to be like, I believe maybe double the size of Drogon, which is fucking huge.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah. So the biggest one is the one that's in the crypt. Right, the big skull one, right? The one that we saw in Game of Thrones, and the one that we saw at the end of the pilot when the dad was like, "You're gonna be the heir to the throne," like that giant dragon skull. Yeah, that's the biggest one. But I think that's like back in the day and shit like that, though.
Yeah. Funny thing about the dragons, now that you mentioned it, I'm not sure if you watch Jeremy Jans. He does video movie reviews, but
yeah. Jeremy Jans, yeah.
Yeah, he did a review for episode 1 too. It's kind of funny. Did you notice that the yellow dragon at the beginning part of episode 1's name is Cyrax?
Yes.
Yeah. It was like saying, then the red dragon should be named Sector.
Yeah, from Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
Yeah, like
it's like, oh yeah. When I watch it again, it's really silent. He wasn't even sure when he made the video. It's like, I think the yellow dragon's name is Cyrax. Then when I watch it again, yeah. It's like, oh wow, they're fans of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really the name in the books, but yeah, just a funny Easter egg.
Well, here's the thing though. Game of Thrones is owned by Warner Brothers, right?
Oh,
Warner Brothers also owns NetherRealm Studios.
NetherRealm Studios.
Yeah, so it's just like maybe there's a crossover or something. But here's the thing though. Like I'm pretty sure there's going to be some kind of crossover because in what multiverses you already have what's it called again, Arya Stark.
Sub-Zero. Yeah,
Arya Stark. So I think they're going to introduce Sub-Zero into multiverses.
Maybe
in the future, maybe just for fun, but it'll be pretty cool though. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to episode 2 tomorrow, and I hope this brings back that that sort of joy, because like it's whenever, like, I remember the first time I watched Game of Thrones, this was back in 2002. I believe it was 2000 and probably 14. Yeah, 2014. I was 2013 or 2014, I forgot. I was interning at Cartoon Network, right? And a fellow intern, her name is Kristen, and we became friends relatively quick, and then we were just talking and stuff like that. She was an intern for a different show. I was intern for Ben 10. I think she was an intern for, I think, the regular show or Clarence. I forgot another show, but she was like, "Have you watched Game of Thrones?" And I was like, "Oh, is that show about like knights and like dragons and stuff like that?" And she's like, "Yeah, you should watch it." And then I was like she said season 4 is about to start, and they just finished season 3, and then I'm like, okay, and I was like, it's like I don't have time to get into another show, but she's like, I need someone to talk to, and I was like, oh, okay, sure. I guess no one that she was a big Game of Thrones fan yet. It's because, to be honest, like I understand people didn't really get into Game of Thrones until like probably season 4, like sort of like me, like I would consider myself.
We're on the same boat, actually. Your story is pretty similar to mine, but yeah, go ahead first.
So she's like, I need someone to talk to. Season 4 is about to start, and for me, I would consider myself somewhat of a normie in terms of Game of Thrones, right? I don't know much. And people who read the book are like, oh, the book is way better and stuff like that. I might do audiobook, or maybe like just listening to it in the background or something. But so when I first watched the first episode, I'm like, the first episode has to hook me, right? The first, like I will only give you one episode if it's an hour. If it's half an hour, I might give you 2. So I watched the first one. I'm like, okay, what happens next? And it didn't really draw me in until probably, I would say, near the end of season 1. Like, it didn't really like, okay, I really like the show now, right? And in season 2, to be honest, season 2 was all like character build up, like character backstory and stuff like that. And I think like season 3 was the Red Wedding, right?
Yes.
And then so like once I got to sort of like, you know, when Ned Stark died, I'm like, oh my god. And then like, okay, I get all those memes now, right? And then it's like, you see Batman, he's like, hey kid, make sure you grow up and be a good person, like, you know, be a good kid. And then Joffrey's like, I will. Because that actor, I think his name is Jack Gleason, he was in Batman Begins, right, with Christian Bale. He was a little kid. He was a little kid. He's like, thanks, Batman. What should I do in the future? He's like, just be the best you can. And he's sitting on a throne. He's like, I will. But to be honest though, like, he played such an amazing character that you love to hate. And I remember he was on like a college campus, and people were actually like sending him death threats because how much they hate him. But
how good he was,
like
crazy.
And for me, like, what the show is sort of like, it's sort of bringing back that spark. I'm like, hey, this could be something really good, right? We're actually gonna have more dragons. Like I don't think we're gonna see much of. I don't think we're gonna see much of the Night King. But I remember watching, what's it called again? I think it was Nerdrotic. And he was doing his Friday Night Tights, or even the Geeks and Gamers Squad. Like, they were talking about the only way that that they will be able to do the Night King is if they do like baby Night King, sort of like Baby Yoda. It's just like a tiny like little baby Night King in the background.
Yeah. Jeremy Jans isn't a fan either. It's like, to be honest, I don't give a crap about the Night King. It's good that it's gone. So it's not really a strong plot, I think. Yeah, it's more there. It's really more of the political intrigue and how it all ties together. Which I agree. That's the more intriguing part. Like that's what makes for the first 4 seasons stronger.
It's because like the first 4 seasons is like you get like one episode out of the entire season, a little clip about like what's going on beyond the wall. Right, you get like something like that. You know, you see a baby, and then you see the Night King touch the little baby and turns into a White Walker, and then like, oh, cool. Oh yeah, I forgot that even happened. Oh yeah, you know, like I am more about like when I was a kid. I'm not sure. Maybe you feel the same way, but when I was a kid, I didn't give a shit about like story or like or any of that kind of stuff. Like I don't care about story. I don't care about lore. I don't care about character development. All I care is about, is there explosions? Is there fight scenes and stuff like that? Is like, that's all I really cared about. But now as an adult, like I don't care about the fight scenes at all anymore. Like sometimes you get like really good, like grounded fight scenes. Like, and what's it called again? When they were trying to sack the wall, when the, what's it called again? When the giants came and tried to attack the wall and stuff like that. And you see Jon Snow fighting, he used to hammer and like bop that guy in the head and stuff like that. Like that's really cool. But like I care more about story now. I care more about like exposition and like just character building. But yeah, but I first you said that like you said you had a similar story on like how you got into Game of Thrones. What was that?
Yeah, it's not as it's not like yours that someone was nagging you to. It's more of like me feeling the FOMO. It's like it's around that. It's funny. It's around 2014, 2015. So maybe around 2015 or 2016. But it's around the time where Game of Thrones was probably season 5, 4 or 5, somewhere around that.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, when I check my social media, my Facebook, it's like, why is everyone talking about Game of Thrones so much? Like, I feel like I'm missing something. I should start trying to watch TV series. Then that's what really got me. Episode 1 is, oh, this is really good. It's like, introducing to Ned Stark, but he has to go to King's Landing, Robert Baratheon, and so on and so forth, until it got to the end of the season. It was like, holy cow, okay, that's what happened. So, yeah, it's like, for me, it's really, when it started to wane, not necessarily bad for Game of Thrones, it started to wane when they started to deviate from the books. It's like, after season 4, it's like, I noticed then by season 5 and beyond, it's like, people were starting to get it right. Like, okay, so this is probably what's going on, what's gonna happen. Generally speaking, they got a lot of things right. It's probably because it's outside of the books already. Unlike what makes the first 4 seasons so strong, it's like the writing was so good. Like the tragedies, like the execution of Ned Stark, the Red Wedding, was like you should have seen it coming, but since you're so invested in these characters, you didn't.
Yeah.
It really just, oh god, yeah. It's like, he deserved that. Like, but you were so rooting for these characters, but like that you yourself became irrational too. That's what made it so effective. That's the magic that it didn't have for the second part, especially in season 8. We all know that season 7, season 8.
Yeah.
So that's hopefully House of the Dragon can do something similar. Like I think George R. Martin has a role already in this, so maybe he can pull the same magic like you mentioned.
I hope so. Like he's been spending like how many like freaking like he's been spending about like how many freaking like years like not writing, right? Like he's probably like living off his riches and like bouncing around in that freaking flotation thing like that he does. Like I've actually seen like footages of him like freaking not doing it. He's just like basically inside this like weird like bubble and he's like but like for me, I heard that John, what's it called again? Kit Harington was supposed to come back and to reprise his role as Jon Snow for some kind of what's it called again? A retcon. Either a spinoff like what happens in the North or like a retcon. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know something is something's brewing up on his end, I believe. And like for me, I'm 100% in agreement that like I hope this does well. I hope that they don't rush anything. Like for me, in the last episode, the last couple of episodes, like I was talking to my friend, and I was like, like there's two parts, right? Like why, how Daenerys sort of like became the Mad Queen and like roasted everyone in King's Landing, right? And he was like, well, you killed off your best friend, and you know, like that was the last straw, and then like everyone was like scared of you. Everyone doesn't respect you anymore now, so everyone has to fear you, right? And she ends up killing a bunch of stuff and stuff like that. Look, that I can understand. Like I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, you lost almost everyone. What part, the part that I wish that they sort of fixed was what happened in Winterfell with when Winterfell was invaded by the White Walkers. Yeah, like I think, okay, everyone loves Arya Stark, right? Don't get me wrong, like I love her, but I didn't think that she deserved the kill. Like I didn't think it. But if she was the person, like they're like, no matter what, like George R.R. Martin wanted Arya to take the kill. I'm like, all right, fine. If you want, you shouldn't have done it like that. What you should have done is not have like fucking Jon Snow like getting tied up with the dragon, right? Like he wasn't able to get to Bran on time. So what you could have done was he was able to escape. What's it called again? It's what's it called again? Like he goes and then he Jon Snow sees what's his name, Reek? What's it, Theon Greyjoy? Like he sees him getting killed, right? He sees him dying. He's like, oh shit, you know, like he was like basically my like stepbrother growing up, right? Because he was what's it called again? Like they kept him. I forgot there's a word for it. Like they Ned Stark kept him. Too. I forgot the word, but what happened was that he sees him dying, and then he was about to go kill what's it called again? Bran. He goes up and fights the Night King and stuff like that, and the Night King gets the better of him, and it's like a one-on-one fight, right? And he knocks his ass away, and then like he drops his he drops what was it, Longclaw? I was gonna say White Claw, but that's an alcohol. But he drops his sword, he drops his Valyrian sword, and then like what's it called again? Arya comes in, fucking jumps in like a ninja, like how she does. Night King catches her by the neck, right? And then like fucking like tosses her away, fucking slaps the shit out of her and stuff like that. And then what's it called? John was like, no, right? So he goes grab his sword and try to stab him, and then the Night King fucking because the Night King is like a hive mind, right? He's linked to every other White Walker. So he's a hive mind. So he sees what they see. So they're basically watching this happen, right? And what happened is that maybe like the Night King is about to like stab the shit out of Jon, and then like at the end maybe like Arya gets the last hit. Like I want to see some kind of like struggle, but there wasn't. You know, you see her. Wasn't. Yeah, Arya just fucking flies in like a bat out of hell, and you're like, oh, you want to see these fucking, I drop my dagger and stab you in the dick, and then I win? It was just like, dude, that was, like, she has nothing to do with the Night King. Did nothing. Like, you came up here and you're like, oh, I'm a fucking crazy-ass assassin, and, you know, I'm gonna use my, you know, the woman with many faces. You didn't even use that, right? It's just like, she just came in here, and then she was all scared, and then fucking, the dude that like lights his sword on fire, like he fucking sacrificed himself to save her, and she gets really scared, and all of a sudden she's not scared. Like I know this is back in like 2018 or so. It's just like I just hope they don't do that. I hope they don't do that. Yeah. Let it sort of marinate. Give it the time to sort of like get good, so you can actually write stuff out, and you wouldn't have gotten your last season 8 of Game of Thrones. I don't know. That's how I feel, and I do not have like really great optimistic views, but I'm hoping it will get good, but I'm not holding my breath, right? Because like it's sort of like full, like it's so what did George W say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me again. Fool me once, I'm gonna get fooled again, right? So it's just like, it's just like it. Like you have one more chance. And the good thing is that majority of the people who are sort of like owning the show, like I believe it's completely new crew, like a completely new crew, so you don't have to worry about, maybe some of the writers like wiggling in their fucking stuff. But for me, it's I give it like a solid like 7.5 out of 10. Like if I have to give it a rating, but I hope it just goes up from there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I generally agree with you too. Like, I would think HBO learned their lesson already from the last two seasons, and it was, if you think about it, it's actually HBO who wanted to expound on Game of Thrones. It's just that the directors did it because they were in such a rush to get to the Star Wars project. So now that they're gone, and there's, as you said, a new crew, new director, and everything, I'm pretty hopeful, but not being too optimistic too at the same time. Because generally it's a good episode, but not an excellent. It didn't blow my socks off for sure. But it's set the foundation is there. I can see it. It's you set up the political disputes, the letting go of the one the villain essentially who continuously defied you. Then so they're setting something up for that too. So and which is a far cry compared to season 8. Like, do you remember the ending of? I forgot which episode was that in season 8, where I think it was the destruction of King's Landing. Then Arya was digging out of the rubble. Then she sees a unicorn out of nowhere, a horse out of nowhere. Then she rides it. It's like, oh, what the hell, man? So none of that BS. So then I'd probably give it around a 7 to 7.5 too. I think it's a fair rating.
Yeah, like for me, like my friend was like, oh, it's boring, and I'm like, like for me, I think it's as good as the original pilot. I think it's interesting enough. It held my interest, and I did like the fact that like they sprinkled in some of like the Game of Thrones music and stuff like that, and that was nice. It's I like the fact like, oh yeah, you remember that? You remember that from that's that, and then you're sort of like, you see how it was before like the Baratheon sort of took over. I want to see like what's it called again? If the like. I'm not sure how. I don't think it's going to be heavily leaned into sort of like the more magical side, the more fantastical side of like Game of Thrones, where it's like White Walkers and then like fucking because I remember in someone said that in the books there's supposed to be a like an ice spider, like some crazy giant ice spider tarantula looking shit when they're up in the north, and like I just want to see more of like King's Landing. I want to see more of the characters, the character development. I want to see there is definitely, I feel like there is tension between like the factions of like the brother and Daemon, right? Viserys and Daemon. I think there is going to be some kind of divide, and I think that like right before maybe Viserys lays down the law, lays down the hammer and saying that like, this is going to happen, but I think he might die. I have a feeling that he is probably going to die. The show will probably be revolving around fucking Rihanna.
Renaria.
I need to write this shit down, man.
Me too.
I need to write this shit down. But like for me, I'm not sure if what's it called again? I remember the Hand of the King. He's I believe he's the Hightower, or I forgot. But the Hand of the King had a daughter, and for me, like I remember like they were like under the tree, right, under that red tree. I forgot what that red tree is called, and Renaria was like lying down like with her head on like her lap.
The lap.
And then I'm like, okay. Are they lovers? If they're gonna go ahead and sprinkle that in, it's fine. Like
it's fine for me too.
Yeah, like if they sprinkle that stuff in, it's fine and stuff like that. But the thing is that if you're going to carry out the your legacy, your lineage, you're gonna have to have a male spouse, right? So and the crazy thing is I know that I'm pretty sure Game of Thrones does this, but I do know that like even like in the olden times, like a lot of people they want to keep the bloodline pure. So they would have like, cousins would sleep with cousins, siblings would sleep with siblings and stuff like that. So like to make sure that the bloodline is strong. I'm not sure, like as of right now, how many Targaryens are there? There's a couple.
Oh, yeah, a couple of
right.
them.
There's
I
a
don't know
couple,
the
right?
exact couple either.
Right. So for me, I originally thought what's it called again? The black dude with the dreads. I originally thought he was a black Targaryen. I'm like, that would be pretty cool because like I know that the person that he married was a Targaryen, and it's because their daughter was a black little girl that had like sort of like the white hair like the Targaryen, which is pretty cool. So I would like to meet more Targaryens. I would like to see more lore behind it, and it's sort of like it's just starting, right? So there's a setting up the foundation of like what the show is going to be, and it would be cool. I don't want them to sort of use too many like member berries. It's like, oh yo, remember that, like nostalgia from Game of Thrones. Like even though they're linked to world, like I don't want them like, hey, remember the White Walkers? We're gonna put that shit in there. Like we don't need it. Like Jeremy John's like literally hit the nail on the head. Like we don't need any of that. Like if you want to talk a little bit about the Wall, sending people to the Night's Watch and stuff like that, like the Starks up in the north. Like I want to see how the Lannisters got in, right? How the Lannisters sort of weaseled their way into like the kingdom, because we haven't seen any Lannisters yet. At least I haven't seen a lion sigil.
Yeah, not yet. I imagine they get their own episode. They're more of the prominent family, so I can see why. I can see why they weren't put into episode 1 yet.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's good. But yeah, it's like speaking of shows, have you been watching The Sandman?
No, actually, I need to take a look. I was busy watching binging Better Call Saul. Really
I heard that's really good. I've watched like the first. I think I've watched. Okay, so I think the last episode I've seen was when Saul's brother lied to him, and he basically came out into the sun. Because he can't, he's afraid of radiation, and so he has to put all the phones in and he's afraid of the sun. And then he came out, and then I'm like, "What, you piece of shit!" That's the last thing I saw. That's like season 1, right?
Yeah, that's way. But did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yes, I completely finished Breaking Bad, and I also watched I also watched El Camino, the movie, which is good. I did like that too.
Yeah. It's really worth watching till the end if you have the time. It's really good. It's like because I know, but I think there's some people I know personally that prefer Better Call Saul because they like more of the lawyer dynamic over the meth dealing in Breaking Bad. So yeah, they prefer that theme better. So it's actually really weird. And the ending was like, chef's kiss, 100%.
So they finished it already. The series done.
Yeah. Season 6 is the series finale. It's already finished.
Okay. So that's good. I do like the actor that plays Saul.
Odenkirk.
Yeah. And did you watch Nobody?
Yes, I just
that shit was good.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'm like, I want to watch more stuff this season.
Yeah. It's a chill movie that like he just destroys everybody, but no complaints here. It's a type of movie you just freeze your brain and have fun. Sometimes, because sometimes you don't. I don't know about you, but sometimes I prefer movies that it's just good fun. Like you don't know deep dive why did this happen. It's like it's just good. It's just good fun. It just kills the dude just kills all the bad guys, so it's just not a bad thing for me.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But what's it called again? Speaking of which, what's it called again? If you have not seen Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick, I highly recommend it. I believe it's on. I believe it's on streaming now. You can actually stream it on I think Amazon Prime has it now. Like if you want to buy it and stuff, and you probably catch it on like Paramount Paramount Plus or something like that. But like other websites and stuff like that, you should be able to watch it. But I would say if you don't watch Top Gun original, this movie is just really good. Top Gun Maverick itself, like as a standalone movie, is good. It has very good tension moments. It has character building. It has the story is good. It's very simple. It's just like, here's point 1, point 2, point 3. They don't give you a lot of like crazy thing that happens. And the great thing about that movie is majority, I would say like 90% of the aircraft stuff is like practical effects or act. Yeah, they're all done. Like there's no visual effects for it. And like because I watched after watching Maverick, like I watched the behind the scenes stuff and it's like pretty like you're like, holy shit, man, like Tom Cruise is a fucking crazy asshole. And like I would say like, and I think a lot of people would agree that like he is like the American Jackie Chan. Like he does his own stunts, he's still filming, he's still relevant, and like he's still in good shape. Like there's of course Top Gun, you got to have a beach volleyball scene with like half naked men. It's the girls are all completely like covered up. But all the men, if you like some washboard abs and a whole rock hard pecs and rippling bulging biceps, like that shit is fucking that shit is fucking amazing. But it's good. It's a good time. But if you watch the original Top Gun, then it's like, holy shit, this is how you make a sequel. Like that it's from, because Top Gun is like 87. Right, it's like 87, like or like 80, 85 or something. Like it's in the 80s. It's probably before I was born, and so this is about like 30 years now, like 30 plus years, and you make a sequel to a movie that's 30 years. How can you match that movie? And that movie was really, really good. Like I watched Top Gun the original earlier this year, and I'm like, this is a good movie. It's fun. Like you said, I could turn my brain off. It's simple. It's sort of like very simple, like basic story writing, but with good acting and like good drama moments, and it's just fun. But this movie, it's like this movie is, in my opinion, is better than the original. So like in my opinion, it's better than the original. But if you watch the original, it's definitely gonna be like, damn, like the parts that are like member berries and like nostalgia and stuff like that, it's really good. And they don't it's a very well paced movie. It's like it's a little bit over 2 hours, and man, that's good. And I do like those movies. Like sometimes like you're in those movies like, yo, I want to watch Tenet, or I want to watch what's it called again? Fucking here's it. I didn't watch Tenet. Speaking of Tenet, I didn't watch Tenet.
I haven't watched it either.
People say it's good. People are just like big. They get like a big hard on for fucking who's the director again? Christopher Nolan, right? Whenever he directs something, like everyone just like literally like gets super like amped, like, oh my god, that movie is gonna be the best thing ever. Like the last Nolan movie I watched was Inception, right? I think Inception is Nolan. Yeah, right. So I didn't watch that space movie that he did. Everyone
Interstellar.
loved. I did not watch that one. Is it good?
I vaguely remember, to be honest, but definitely Inception is, for me, is the better movie.
Okay.
I think.
I do like all the like the mind fuckery that happens. Like it's sort of like is the top gonna fall? And it cuts to black, right? So it's sort of like like that's great. My wife haven't seen it yet. I do want her to watch it, but it's like she has to be in a mood because it's like she's pregnant and stuff like that. I don't want her to like sit through like a long ass movie and stuff like, yo, let's go watch freaking Justice League Snyder cut. Like one sitting, no breaks. Is like, goddamn, man, that is 4 hours, dude. It's like I'm not gonna. To be honest, that movie was good. I would say that's my favorite movie of that year. What was it? It's the last year, right? Like 2021. Yeah, I would say that's my favorite movie of last year. But yeah, like it's I hope I just want like I'm one of those people. I'm like, I don't care about politics. I don't care about cultural war. I don't care about politically correct. I don't care about any of that shit, right?
Yeah.
Just make good entertaining stuff, and that's the reason why I have a feeling. I would say I'm a pretty. I would say I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan in terms of movie stuff, right? Like I'm not like I read everything he wrote. No,
Yeah.
that's considered like a normie, right? Like, so in terms of Lord of the Rings, I'm also relatively a normie. The first 3 movies were perfection. There's nothing you can change about it that will make the movie better. I think those movies are great. But and the thing is that I think the Hobbits were okay. I watched them. I think they're okay. But like, and that's the reason why I fear that what's it called again?
Rings of Power.
Yeah, the Rings of Power it's gonna be really bad. Like, it's just like I've seen my fair share of what so sort of just like a couple of the clips and stuff like that, what they did, how they're gonna just like, when I will watch like, like Gary from Neurotic, or like even like the Geeks and Gamer, or people who are like big Lord of the Rings fan who read the books, they're like, this is not how the character was. The character doesn't act like this. The character doesn't do this. Like and I know one of my chatters, Sir Cyrus, like I believe he's in
He's a big Lord of the Rings fan.
Yeah, so like he is definitely glass half full. Like for me, like I'm definitely glass half empty in terms of like, it's sort of like the older you get, you are most likely going to be a glass half empty kind of person, is because like so many like if you're expecting disappointment all the time, then like you
won't be disappointed.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed, and that's how I feel. It's like, like for me, like this movie's gonna suck, and like as long as I know that movie's gonna suck, and if it does suck, like hey, I called it.
Yeah. At least it's good if it's good, then you proven wrong. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm wrong. Yeah, I get it.
It's there has been things I'm like, damn, I didn't want to like this movie, but this movie was pretty fun. Like I think there are only a few movies that were like that. What's it called again? I to be honest, on the top of my head, I can't think of any. But in terms of shows, I'm just like, for me, like Rick and Morty was one of them. Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I watched until season 3, or was it season 4? Yeah, I haven't been the latest ones. I haven't watched it yet. But I watched.
Same here. Like I think the last season I watched was when I think like Rick and Morty like officially broke up. They're like, oh, we're not going to be together anymore. Like sort of like, yeah. So I think that's season 4. I'm not sure if it's season 5. I think it's I'm not sure it's the Pickle Rick seasons. I think that's 4.
Yeah, Pickle Rick is 4, and the one before. There's another one I think before it. I do not remember too. It's been a while. But yeah.
Like to be honest, I'm like everyone. Like I'm one of those people. I guess you can consider it a forgot what that word is, but it's sort of like when you are when you hate whatever's popular, right? So like for me, like everyone was like, oh, Rick and Morty is so good. For me, I just hated the art style, right?
Okay.
Yeah. As an artist, I'm like, if it's not appealing, I'm not gonna watch it, right? If the characters does not look cool or badass, like I'm gonna pass on it. But the thing is, like, my wife is like,
yeah,
let's watch it. Everyone says it's good. Everyone says it's funny. Let's watch it. And what sort of like pulled me over was one of my close friends, he used to be a technical director for the show from season 1 to 3. And so he's like, it's good. You should watch it. So I'm like, all right, I'll watch it to support you, right? So I watched the first episode. I'm like, this shit's fucking hilarious. And I continue watching it, and it like for me, like it was just like something that I'm like, okay, this is good. This like I was coming into it hating it, not liking it already, like because it looks like shit and stuff like that. And same thing with South Park. I was like that with South Park too. And like for me, like I watched South Park when I was in like 5th grade. Like when I think when the South Park movie was coming out, that's when like everyone started watching it. But I'm like, I don't like the art style. The humor is not for me and stuff like that. But then like when I grew, sort of like I didn't really get into South Park until I was what's it called again? When I finished college. So it's like in
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
2010s, right around there. So I'm like, that's when I actually watched. Like I knew there was the World of Warcraft episode that everyone loved, and then I'm like, "Oh, fine, I'll just watch it. And I watched it and I'm like, this is good. Like the writing is good. The humor is there. Like because the earlier seasons was all about farting and like, burping and like, like I wasn't a big fan of that until they sort of like it got into like more of like cooler things that start talking about like more current events, right? More about like, oh, the election just happened yesterday. How did South Park make an election episode like that came out the day after? And the crazy thing is also another one of my close friends. She's a technical director on South Park, and she's still there. And
Okay.
and she would say that like there's this documentary, I believe it's called I think it's like nine. It's like a number. I forget. It's a documentary on how they make an episode of South Park, and they work 6 days out of 7 days, and one of the days they work 24-hour,
Wow.
which is crazy. So
Yeah.
so according to what I know, what she said was the first 4 days is script writing. So they're basically waiting there. They're basically like getting stuff set up, stuff like that. Going through like they're like, oh, this is a scene that we'll need, and then they'll like if they already have it, they'll set it up. If they don't have it, they'll make it, right. And then the last 2 days is production. So like if there's stuff that's new, they would do it. So that last day is like, okay, so we're gonna do animations and stuff like that. And so since this is done in Maya, it's all 3D. So like you don't have to draw anything new or anything like that. Like everything's already pre-done. All you need to do is go inside and like change stuff around. And then if you need to add like new fire, that's when like the new shit needs to be done. So and then I think it's called 6 days to air. So then after that, like on Tuesday, which is because South Park airs on Wednesday, on Tuesdays when they work a 24-hour shift. So they come in, they get catered and stuff like that, but they work a 24-hour shift. But the great thing about that, they only work, I believe, 4 months out of the year, 4 to 5 months out of the year.
Yeah, that's a good trade-off. Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Wow.
So they work 4 to 5 months out of the year. That the rest of it, they're on sabbatical, and it's paid sabbatical.
Wow.
It's completely paid. So it's actually a really sweet gig. But the thing is that can you handle that though? Like go ahead.
Yeah, it's something not everyone can do. Like me personally, that's most likely something I cannot do. Honestly, it's chances are imagine what they go through on that day to day for the 24 hours. Like literally every second, there's something urgently that you have to do to be able to pull something like that off.
So according to what I heard, so my friend, her first episode she worked on was the World of Warcraft episode, which is crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was so. Of course, they won an Emmy for that, which is fucking huge. So during this time, there was an episode when it was either Obama or McCain, or it was or was it it was Obama or McCain, and what they did was they would make. And this is for Trump and Hillary as well. So they make 2 episodes for that one, and they're like, if Trump wins, for instance, for Hillary and Trump, if Trump wins, they air the Trump version. If Hillary wins, so that means that they're pulling double duty. So that means that in that 24 hours, they're working even harder.
Yeah, because you have to take account all those scenarios.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Which is crazy,
Dang.
but the thing is that like. Of course, like a lot of people like wants to get into like animation and stuff like that, like especially in the animation industry. I myself have been in the animation industry now. Now I'm in the games industry. Like it's pretty nice, but also it also sucks at the same time. Like it's because what's it called again? Especially if you're in animation and if you're working for a new animation. So let's say if you're at DreamWorks or Disney or Cartoon Network, right? And you're like, oh, I'm working on this new TV show, and this new TV show, it takes about 6 to 9 months to get it done, like per season. But so let's say if you get it done in like 7 months, the rest of the year you're on you're on hiatus, and it's not sabbatical, right? It's not paid. So
Not paid.
yeah. So the thing is that if your show does not get renewed, and that means that it sucks, then you're laid off. So
Yeah.
so that's the thing. But the thing is that you do get paid a lot, right? I believe once you get into like animation job that's in the guild, which is part of IATSE, you pay like your union dues and your fees and stuff like that. They get like really, really good healthcare benefits and stuff like that. But the thing is that, let's say if you want to opt out of it, you can't. You have to do it. So let's say like it's
I think you mentioned this in one of your previous streams.
Yeah,
so it's kind of strange. Like, you can't opt out of a union. What if you like raise it to your boss or something like that?
You can't. It's if the studio that you're working for instance, Cartoon Network is part of the union. If you are working at Cartoon Network as an artist, so like, you know, whether or not you're like scanning in some stuff for like animation, or you're a background artist or character designer, they force you to join a union, and the union is not that cheap. It's like, I think it's from according to what my friend, because he was at Bento Box for a little bit, he says it's about like $4,000 right off the bat. You have to pay for it. So
What?
like,
wow.
yeah. So but the thing is that you get paid a lot. Like you get paid like $50 an hour, which is yeah. So you get paid a lot. But the thing is that that's like a journeyman. So that there's a term that's called journeyman. Journeyman is like when you're already like mid-level, and people could just hire you. They know that you're good for the job, and they don't have to train you, and you can just do that shit. But like the entry level is like you start off like at like $40, so which is still fucking a lot, right? Like comparative to like what minimum wage here in California is about like $15 an hour.
Yeah, 15.
Which is like $15 an hour. I remember Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day. He was like, my fellow Californians are trying to raise the minimum wage from $8 to $15. Right? He's trying to do all that when he was our governor, but like it finally went through, and they're basically trying to make like across the board $15 an hour everywhere, and the union was like, because I hear a lot, like I have a lot of friends who are in there, and they're like, so if the cost of minimum wage goes up, will our wage go up as well?
Go up too. Yes.
And they're like, no. They're like, no. like they have this thing called merit increases, means that every year they sort of like the union goes through and like renews their contract. It's like, hey, maybe we get like 50 cents paid more here and there. But the union has been around like for a long time. I believe in the 70s or something like that. It's been around for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But
it's a long time.
But it's pretty nutty. I would say like it's like the thing is, I know that South Park is not a part of the union. And I believe Rick and Morty is finally officially part of the union, but South Park is not part of the union. Neither is Netflix. So and like a lot of people at Netflix was like, yo, we want union pay, man. Like give us a union. Like even though Netflix is like $1 billion company, it's like we want union pay. And they're like, we're not going to join the union. Right? Like we're gonna have to start like paying like a bunch of these like union fees and stuff like that, and it costs us a lot for us to get into unions and stuff like that. Like, so it's just like we can have more projects, but like you're not gonna get paid your traditional salary, because I know a lot of these people who went from Cartoon Network, Disney, DreamWorks, you know, Sony, and they went to Netflix. But yeah, it's it sucks, right? It's a good and a bad thing, and in terms of that, like I hope that like everyone just like, you know, just go ahead, you do whatever you want, like as long as you're not like doing anything crazy that will hurt people and stuff like that. But I have no idea how we went into talking about like animation and stuff, but but yeah, man, what's it called again? I would say if you are gonna watch The Sandman, like do you have Netflix? I'm assuming you do.
Yeah, but it depends. Not all your shows there, unless I probably bypass it with a VPN. But yeah, that's a story for another time. But yeah, what's The Sandman about, if I may ask?
So Sandman, I believe it's I think it's a comic or a graphic novel by Neil Gaiman. I forgot. I'm not sure if I'm butchering his last name, but it was done like it was like an older like style like comic book that it's about the Sandman. So you know that Sandman, you know that song, right? You know, Mr. Sandman, bring me your dream, right? So it's a person that puts you to sleep. So so in terms of this TV show, it was I guess I don't want to ruin the pilot, but it's about demonic satanic rituals, right? So like
okay.
yeah, so but it's part of the DC extended like lore, because the Sandman, it's in the same universe as Constantine, like John Constantine.
Oh,
Right,
okay,
so
okay.
it's in the same universe, but it's from Warner Brothers, and like it's about like a guy who like who has like superpower. Like I believe there's a sibling of four. You know, there's Dream, which is the Sandman. You get Death, Desire, and there's one more. I forgot who the last one was, but what's it called again? It's about his sort of like his life and his stories and stuff like that. And like there was an episode, like that the first couple episodes was like pretty interesting, right? It's like, oh, okay, what happens here? Oh, okay. But there's an episode, I think it's episode 4 or 5, forgot which one it was. And I fucking hated that episode. I was like, this episode sucks, you know, like it's very artsy. And the Sandman is barely in that specific episode because it's about another character. But it's very like artsy, and it's revolved around a diner, right? And it's the entire episode is in the diner, and it's just like, it's weird. I didn't really like it, and I was so close. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch the show anymore, right? But then my wife was like, let's watch the next one. Let's see what's about. Hopefully we can, you know, cleanse our palate of this like this garbage episode that we didn't like. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are like, oh, this is a very artsy, this is a very like what would this person do if you had this ability, right? What would this person do, you know, because this person thinks he's right? So the next episode, however, that one was an amazing episode. It's the best episode of the series so far. It's about death. It's about like life and death. It is absolutely the best episode, and I'm like, yo, this, like, if I stopped watching at that episode that I hated, and I'm like, and I didn't like,
you didn't push through to get that really good episode.
Yeah, this episode was like, holy shit, this episode's good. There are some gender swaps and stuff like that, but I'm fine with it. I believe Brienne of Tarth, she's in it. She's one of the characters. Tywin Lannister is also one of the characters.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So like you
kind of interested now.
Yeah, and you have Patton Oswalt. He's also one of the characters too, like Patton Oswalt. But yeah, it's actually really big names are in it. If you watch, did you watch Harry Potter? Did you watch Harry? Yeah, Harry so Potter. Yeah, Professor Lupin plays one of the characters as well. So
who's Lupin again? Sorry,
the werewolf, the werewolf teacher in what's that? The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Is that the one you tried to break free? I think.
So
I barely remember. My bad.
Okay. Did you watch you watched Wonder Woman, right?
The first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's the guy who played Ares.
Oh, okay.
The mustache guy. The mustache guy.
Yeah, the mustache guy.
Yeah, so that's Professor Lupin as well. So you have some pretty big names in there, which is pretty good. But what's it called again? I will say that episode is really, really good. That episode makes you think a lot. You're like, it makes you think, and it's a very wholesome episode too. So which is great. I love me some of that, and that's the one you're like, if you want to sort of like think a little bit, you're like, but I remember do you watch Tyrone Magnus? You watch Tyrone?
Recently, not, but I do follow his channel.
Yeah, so he said that like he watched a couple episodes and he couldn't get through it because of all the what's it called again, the satanic rituals, and it's a little bit too much for him. So he's like, I'm not sure if he finished it, but he said that it was a little bit too much for him. And like, because I do know that, like, what's it called again, one of my wife's best friends, she's extremely religious. And like she can't watch anything like that. It's because it's like bad juju and stuff like that. Like same thing with my wife. She says that she can't watch the original Exorcist because it's bad juju, right? So
okay.
But yeah, I thought it was cool. Uh, of course, like when it comes down to like a dark and gritty movie, like or TV shows, the majority of it is really dark. But yeah, that episode is really good. I would say, but that's when we stopped. I would say that episode's like 10 out of 10. Like, I'm not sure if you watched Westworld season 2.
Oh, Westworld. Oh, right. I never got into Westworld, but I was supposed to, but then another series kept
No,
piling onto it.
the first season is a masterpiece. The first season is really, really good. It's like, holy crap, this is really good. Like if you like sci-fi western, like that's that's it for you.
Yeah, I imagine it's even better than Altered Carbon because I really like that one, Altered Carbon, the one in the one
Altered,
that got discontinued in season 2, unfortunately.
Yeah, like Altered Carbon season 1 was interesting. I like the premise of it. Altered Carbon season 2 was awful.
Yeah.
Was really bad.
It was like it was kind of off-putting for me. I think that's why it got canceled.
Yeah, it was not good.
I think the main character of season 1 got pirated by Amazon. That's why he was not around anymore for season 2. It's the same dude who played as Conway in House of Cards.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot his name, but yeah.
Yeah, he played he was in Suicide Squad, and he also played Murphy in the new RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I forgot his name.
Yeah, me too.
He's a very good actor.
Yeah, I like him a lot. But yeah, like what's it called again? Altered Carbon season 1 was really good. Altered Carbon season 2 was really bad. And my friend is because Altered Carbon was based off a book, and he said that like Altered Carbon like in the books was really, really well done. So they sort of like how he was super upset like how they ruined like the characters and stuff like that in Altered Carbon season 2. But Westworld season 1 is really, really good. I would say watch it. Season 2 was okay, but there's one episode in there that it was all in Native American like language. Like it's like
okay, so it had to be translated.
Yeah, it's all translated. That episode like made me tear up. Like that episode was really good. Like holy crap! Like my wife, like she was crying like a lot. But that episode was really good. But then like how it ended, I guess like I guess it's okay. But season 3 I didn't watch because I knew where it was going. I knew exactly where it was going. And
season 3 is season 3 the one with Jesse Pinkman?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I didn't even know that season 4 was coming out. I think season 4 is out already. I didn't even know that was a season 4. That's how bad. Like, I don't care. I don't give a shit about that show anymore. But what's it called again? There was a lot of things that like I'm like, oh man, like I need to watch this. Oh man, I need to watch this. Here's the thing. I remember when I was at work, and then my friend turns to me, my coworker. He's like, "Hey, do you watch Mad Men?" I'm like, "Nope." So he got so mad.
Yeah, I did watch. I did not finish it though. I did not finish it. I watched. I forgot which season. But yeah, I can imagine it had a good ending, at least for the main character. I don't think it had a good ending based on what I've watched. I could be wrong. But I hardly remember. It's been a while, but yeah, it's the story of like the big marketing guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cheating on his wife and all that. Yeah, I imagine he got through some terrible stuff. I imagine throughout the story.
Yeah, and what's it called again? Like for me, like. I'm not sure. I believe that the trailer has dropped for The Last of Us, the TV show, right? And
okay. I haven't seen it.
I believe it dropped, but the thing is, I'm assuming this is based off the first Last of Us. So
yeah, probably.
I hope it's good because I know that everyone loved the first Last of Us.
Yeah, I just finished it recently. I think last week.
You like it?
I just finished. I finished the game. I played it again. I played it again in my since I just got a PS5, so I fired up. Yeah, it still holds up.
It's still good.
It's still good. It's still good. Yeah, I was actually pondering if I should get the part 2 for cheap because I'm sure I can get a cheap copy since a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, like for me, I believe Pedro Pascal is playing as Joel.
Joel, yeah.
Yeah, who's playing
As Ellie,
yeah, Ellie. Is it Liana Mormont?
I think so. Yeah, I think you got that right.
I believe Last of Us TV show. I'm not sure if it's her.
Let's take a look. I'll take a look too.
The casting of Ellie in Last of Us TV show. Let's go ahead and check.
It looks like her.
No. No, it's not her. I thought it was her. It's not her. It's I think I've seen her before though. Oh, she was in Booksmart. Did you watch Booksmart? Did you watch Booksmart?
No, I'm not familiar.
Okay, so let me see. Let me see.
Why does it say in mine that it's her?
Yeah.
Bella Ramsey. It says Bella Ramsey when I searched it.
Okay, let me actually go to IMDb. IMDb, The Last of Us. Sheesh. TV shows. There it is. Last of Us. So it's coming out next year. Yeah. Bella Ramsey. Yeah.
Bella Ramsey. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's her.
Yeah. So we have Pedro Pascal playing as. So you have both of the what's it called? And you have you raped her, you murdered her, you killed the children. Right? You have the Viper. Oberyn Martell, and you have Lyanna Mormont. But yeah. To be honest, I think as long as I don't see an Abby down here, I think we're good.
Yeah. Abby is a season 2, part 2.
Yeah, as long as we don't see Abby, I think we're good.
Yeah, we're good. I get a feeling it'll be good. But the bigger my bigger question is, if they're gonna make a part 2, will they follow the part 2 of the game?
I hope not.
Question. Yeah. Because I'm expecting this one to be good, honestly. I see no reason why it wouldn't be. But if they're gonna make a part 2, will they follow the part 2 of the game?
Yeah,
that's my question.
Yeah, like to be honest, I love both of these actors. Like I'm not sure if me and myself and what's it called again, Pedro Pascal's, like I'm pretty sure he's relatively like his sort of like where he stands politically and stuff like that. Like he's pretty outspoken. Like I'm not sure where we stand. We're at the same spot, but in terms of him, like a lot of the stuff he's in, I love. Like I loved him in Mandalorian. I loved him in what's it called again? I loved him in
It's also pretty good in Narcos. If you watch Narcos,
is Narcos good? My brother keeps telling me to watch it. He says it's really good.
Yeah, it is. He's there too. He's one of the agents who takes down. Spoiler, you probably know Pablo Escobar. He's one of the agents.
That no one knew that. That's completely brand new information.
Wait, I know it's him. Wait, let's take a look. I don't want to spew any. I'm sure it's him. I'm sure Pedro Pascal is. Okay, let me check. It's him, right? I could. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm right. Yeah, I checked Wikipedia.
Yeah, he's Narcos.
He's a Narcos. Yeah,
that's brand new information. No one knows that, man. Like he killed Pablo Escobar. But yeah. Like to be honest, I hope all of these things are good. Like I know majority of these like video game adaptations to movies or TV series are like, they're not good, and that's the reason why they canceled the Netflix Resident Evil TV show. They completely canceled. I believe they canceled like yesterday or something like that. It's like really recent.
And I imagine Halo will follow the same footsteps.
Yeah, like to be honest, like they're like they should have done exactly what the Mandalorian did. Was do not ever take off Master Chief's helmet. That's like one of the things that like it's like sacred. Like, you do not take him off. Like of course you cannot be like, oh, the Cortana, where's them tickle bitties, man? Like it doesn't matter about that. Like first and foremost, do not take off his helmet. right? Just do the Mandalorian thing. This is the way and stuff like that. But like, oh, if we do that, we're just gonna be another Mandalorian thing. It's like, but this is like the lore, man. You gotta follow the lore. And
yes,
and like for me, like I hope it's good. I hope The Last of Us is good. I hope it's like, oh yeah, this is exactly like the video game. And to be honest, make it exactly like the video game, right? You can add in extra things, but make it like the video game. Like that's the reason why when people are like, oh, the Resident Evil movie with the one that came out recently, like the one that did really, really bad, they're like, oh, it's basically the first Resident Evil and the second Resident Evil. I'm like, dude, that's 2 movies, man. Like,
yeah.
You don't do that. Like, don't.
I think the worst one that pulled that off was, I think, the movie with Idris Alba. I don't know if I read his name right. The Dark Tower. I think they put all the books in one movie.
Oh no.
Yeah, literally all the books in one movie. It's called The Dark Tower. So it ended up really, really, really bad.
Like they rushed everything. Then I'm assuming.
Yeah, that's what I read on it. I never watched it. I didn't read the books. I didn't watch the movie. But that's what the reviewers say. It's all the books of that book series in one movie.
Oh my god, that's it's like not it's just like how not to fuck up a movie, right? It's sort of like when you're rushing things, it's really bad. I remember my wife, she was really, really into the Promised Neverland. I believe it's a anime manga, right?
Oh yeah. I asked you about that. Yeah,
she was did you did you watch it or read it?
Not yet.
Okay.
But, I'm putting all the stuff we mentioned in a notepad so that I remember.
Yeah, so the thing is that she said that season 1, the first season was really, really good. It was really, really well done. And season 2, she hated it. so it's just like, why you have so much like source material, you have so much like lore and stuff like that. Like you can, like, why would you make things go faster? Why would you rush it? So like, to be honest, if they turned that Resident Evil movie into a TV show and made it last longer, it probably would have been better. Like, have a chance to flesh out your characters, have a chance to do this, have a chance for people to get to know the characters better, and like before you completely like ruin it. But it's like for me, like that's the reason why like I don't really care about like video game adaptations to movies, like comic book movies anymore. To be honest, the only 2 things I actually care about right now, well, I guess now like the House of the Dragons like could be one of them if it continues to get better. The 2 things I'm actually still invested in is Invincible and The Boys. That's it.
Oh yeah, The Boys. Yeah. So, I completely forgot about them. Yeah, The Boys is really, really good.
Yeah,
and like you already read the comics, right? I haven't.
Okay, so here's the thing. I have not read the comics, but I remember one time I was listening to like stuff you didn't know about the boys in the TV show. I let it autoplay, and then it's sort of like I think it was like some kind of like comic thing to explain the story, and it sort of ruined like who. Like the main, like sort of the like what happened in the comics, it completely like it basically spoiled it for me. And
okay.
I'm not sure if they're gonna continue going in that route, right? I'm not gonna sure if they're gonna continue going in that route if they're like they're gonna do that. Is because they changed like the last couple of like panels or of at least that the comic is it's a lot of like, holy shit, what the fuck is happening, right? And like I don't know too much about like the other stuff. I only know what happens at the end, right? So I'm not sure if they're gonna follow that. They could, because I could totally still see it happening, but I don't want to say it is because just in case it does happen. But like me and my brother, we both know about it, and the people who read the comics do know. But And to be honest though, like The Boys, the Hero Gasm episode is the best episode of the entire series. I would say.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I had everything, man.
Yeah.
Like it's so good. Like and that's the reason why I'm like it has its like woke moments, but they are deserved, right?
Yeah.
Like Kimiko, like I like Kimiko is great. Starlight, I'm not a big fan of. She's probably like my least favorite character. Same thing with Huey. He's probably both of them are probably like my least favorite characters. But I do like them, but they're like my least liked.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, have you watched Invincible?
Not yet.
You should definitely watch it. It's on the same type of like par in terms of what's that called again? Like brutal like superhero stuff. It's not as funny, you know, like what's it called again? The Boys is funny.
It's not as humorous as okay.
Yeah,
What's the premise of Invincible?
So I believe the main character who I forgot the actual character's name. I know his superhero name. His name is Invincible. And it's played by Glenn from The Walking Dead. He voices him. And he gets into he's like in high school, and he sort of like discovers that he has superpowers. And his dad was like, finally, all right, let's go. And then something crazy happens, and then there's some like a mystery. And then you're sort of like seeing the main character sort of like becoming a superhero. And there's actually like a band of superheroes. So it's basically sort of like the Justice League. There's like a Justice League kind of thing. And then there's like government is also involved. The character has a love interest. And what's it called? And you like the dad's name's Omni-Man. And it's played by J.K. Simmons, which is great. I love J.K. Simmons. And it's and the mom is played by, I'm not sure if you ever watched Grey's Anatomy, but it's played by Sandra Oh. And it's
I haven't, but okay.
Yeah, I used to watch like freaking like dramedies and like soap opera stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But yeah, it's good. Like give it a try. Like just watch one episode. I believe the first episode is an hour, and I think like every other episode is like half an hour. But that show is good though. I like that one. I'm definitely waiting for. It's like Justice League, but if Justice League was like rated R, and like there's like real life world consequences and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sounds interesting.
I would definitely give it a shot, man, for sure.
All right, yeah.
But all right, so I would say we can go ahead and wrap up our video.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like what's it called again? We have a game House of the Dragons that's premiering tomorrow. It's actually pretty sick. I'm looking forward to that. And but yeah, like I'm looking forward to it. We will be back, I believe. We are gonna try to be live every Saturday. Every Saturday. And in terms of Pacific time, will be 9 p.m. 9 p.m.
Then
yeah,
that's 12 p.m. on a Sunday here in the Philippines. GMT plus 8. Yeah. All right.
All right. Cool. So you want to go ahead and give your shout out, like your socials and stuff.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitch. Just search for Grae Blade, Grae, then Blade. At Twitch, I usually stream. Yeah, there's gonna be some overhaul with that one. But I will mainly stream on Friday and Saturday here. That's the 2 days that I can guarantee that I will. But for the other days, it'll be erratic. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it for now. YouTube content that's gonna come later this year, because that's gonna take some time. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much.
And you can you guys can follow me at Twitch. Twitch.com/Mr. Phillip Chan. You can follow me on same thing with Instagram, Mr. Phillip Chan, for my art stuff, and for Twitter, you can go ahead and I believe the handle is at Philly, PHILLIECHAN, and same thing with YouTube. It will be Mr. Phillip Chan. And thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys next time. See ya.